Hello, 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 hello. How is everybody doing today? How's everybody feeling today? I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty swell. If I'm being completely honest, I kinda first off didn't check to see if how loud this is or if it even works on the game catcher. It does work on the game catcher and the music's off. I'm genius. I'm an absolute genius. Um, Second off, I didn't. I really need to go to the toilet, but I knew I was starting right now, so. Yeah, I know. I was just telling them about that. I was just telling them that. Um, so when that happens, when I've done all these posts, I'm gonna quickly go to the toilet, and then we can actually start. But I thought I'd just mention it because you will just see me randomly run away for a second. In fact, that will happen right now. Do you want me to put the Be Right Back screen on? Let's put the Be Right Back screen on. It's a cool screen. We should use it more often. Right, I'll see you in a sec. I'll see you in a sec. It's just a small sec. I'm very, very sorry. I'm very, very sorry. Okay, I'm back. I am actually back now, and we can go to literally the game. Not the in-game... I need to get rid of some of these tabs, because I just have them because they exist. Right, and also I'm testing this music because I thought it'd be cool. It's going to constantly be raining, though, so if it makes you need to go to the toilet, I'm very, very sorry. Because it might happen to me as well. Anyway, how's everyone doing? I'm doing okay. This is a game that I've been playing for a bit now. As you can sort of see, I've got a bit more credit in this game. I'm going to put a reroll in here. I've been putting a load of stuff into the meta progression, mostly focusing on this stuff. XP is a pretty decent thing, so I've been upping that a fair amount as well. But yeah, I've been playing a bit. Effectively what it is it's sort of like a Vampire Survivor game. I'm always hesitant to call them Survivor-likes, even though it's the general parlance, because it feels a bit weird to call them, like, a game-like. But then I do that for Souls-like. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, you have these different characters. They all got the different stats. and a different gun that they particularly have. I'll be honest, I don't really care for that much. I always pick Robot Boy because Robot Boy's my favorite. That's literally it. It's just because Robot Boy's my favorite. I like his weapon the most. But you know what? Because it's new, why don't we try not Robot Boy? How about we try this guy, the double pistol dude? Anyway, it's just a sort of standard Vampire Survivor sort of style game. Differences being there are sort of types, I guess. I don't want to call them factions, but sort of types of weapons. If you get a load of them, you get a special ability. Also, the events are like, you occasionally find these like question mark things, and they aren't always 100% good. And it has a similar thing where there's 3 missions. There's easy, hard, and brutal. I've gotten brutal on, I believe, both of these, but it's hard to know if you've already done this one. And I'm trying to get through this one, but it's notably harder. Anyway, I've been playing a lot of this game. And as much as I like Monster Train, I've hit a point in the game where I'm sort of hit this brick wall of, I had one strategy which was doing pretty well, but because I focused so heavily in that one strategy, I'm so bad at any of the higher ascensions with any of the other combos. And so I'm sort of in the experimenting phase of trying to figure out what I'm going to do first. And so until then, I thought I'd play something else. What I really like about this game is, we'll see here, is twofold. One, it's got the sort of like Slay the Spire-esque sort of thing here, where you've got this large thing trying to get to the boss, but there's like enemies, shops, unknowns, and stuff. What's interesting about this game, every one of these is a battle. Every single one of these. So unlike some of the other games I've played that have sort of done this idea, this shop is not you just go. It's not that you just go into a shop and then buy a bunch of stuff. It's that you are in a fight, but there's a lot more shop rooms. Like, it's almost exclusively shop rooms. And so that's an interesting thing that happens in this. Another thing is this. You have this auto-aim, which I absolutely adore, because I'm horrendous when it comes to that, and especially when you're like me. Oh. The game glitched a slightly bit there. I wonder why. So, here's what I was talking about before. See, Strider. If I get 3 Striders, I get a special ability, which is spawn an advanced drone. Now that, I don't think counts. I don't think that counts, just upgrades to the existing thing. It's 3 individually different things that have the Strider thing. Also, this is an armory, one of the 2 kinds of shops you can have. This just upgrades your basic weapon. They're not always all green. Sometimes they have negatives to them. But obviously I didn't have enough money here. But this place is an enemy area, so it means we have a lot more of these things. Up here, you see the red things here? These. Which are just, you stand in the circle, kill as many as you physically can while in that circle, and then you get a bonus. You get like a free level up equivalent. So not all of them are actual new weapons. You get stuff like this, which is just general boosts. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus this Strider one, because it means that I quickly get an advanced weapon. Even though I normally don't go for health, because a lot of the time, if I'm getting health, then I'm probably losing. These are the other counter upgrades you can get, which are sort of just passives. I really like taking these kinds early. That just give me a passive boost to my damage. And I really like taking effectively any time it says rare. Not only am I a big fan in this game of picking things that don't require me to be pointed in a certain direction, I'm also a big fan of taking things that, just give me passive buffs, really. Salvage is very similar to what we saw before, in the sense of it being you stand in an area long enough and then you get a thing, except this time you don't have to kill anyone. It's just you stand in an area long enough, you get a thing. As you can see, you can kind of do this thing where you, if they're close enough, you can stand in 2 circles. Which is pretty cool. I don't like anything here, but I could get this Exorcist, so I'm not sure if this is one that I've already gotten, but we're gonna pick the Exorcist one. Got a sneaky suspicion it is. So, last week. Let's talk about last week. We haven't done this in a Monday stream that often. What did we do last week? Monday? It did get it. Okay, cool. I don't like critical chance, and I don't like any of these, so I'm going to use my 1 reroll to get the XP boost. Monday, we played some Monster Train, if I remember correctly, and that game, freaking love it. The story's freaking good. There's no denying that. But in addition to that, I say story's pretty good. It's pretty entertaining for me. But, in addition to that, the additional factions, initially I was a bit iffy on them, but over time I've sort of realised that they are, especially compared to the older ones, so much more interesting and complicated. I find myself picking the newer factions a lot more than I actually expected after I got the older factions. And my old, pick more spiders. And my old sort of strategy that I always used to go, I think either they've nerfed it or it's just not as it used to be. Because I do not find myself getting much success with the old one. And I also find myself wanting, because I'm really into slow, permanent buffs, right? So if I see myself in a situation where I can get access to slow, constant buffs to something, like for example, one of my favorite monsters is a merman person who every time you... No, I already got a cooldown. Every time you incant, which was play a spell, it just gets +3 attack and +3 health. And that is by far my favorite because of it, simply, it was just like a constant buff from the very, very start. And so my plan always used to be like, you went Awoken, who got access to the specific, like, alternate one, who gets access to the base card, which is like +3 attack, and you draw an extra card next turn. Picking movement speed. And you pick up that, and then you pick up, you pick up that, and then you pick up the... Oh, which one of these do we want? I guess we take this. You pick up that, and then obviously the person that you start with, the hero that you start with, can get an ability which is like incant +2 attack. And you start with like 3 stings. Which are these 0-cost cards. And so my plan was always just spam these 2 characters that get more power the more you cast spells, and then also cast spells that deal damage or heal. So you're just keeping them alive while also spamming these people that care about you doing these spells, you know? I don't think I took a pickup. Did I get it? Did I get Barbarous? I don't know how to see that. But that always used to be my go-to. But it doesn't feel fun anymore. Well, it doesn't get success. It still feels like the same as it did before. It feels fun in the same way. But because of that, I've been spending a lot more time doing stuff with the Banished, who have a very similar sort of buff but the buff is, instead of it being just like plus attack, their basic spells are like plus attack, plus whoever's in the front gets that however much bonus to their attack to their I wish I knew which ones I had already picked. Whatever buff they get to their attack, they also get to their they get as permanent armor every turn. And so I've been picking that and just going on ham on doing stuff related to that, and this cultivate skill where it's like it cultivates the lowest. Cultivate is you give +1/+1 to the lowest health thing on your team. Do I pick the ring? No. And so I've been doing a sort of a double team with them, and I've been having fun with it, but because I've been focusing so heavily on that, I just haven't been focusing on any of the other bonuses, and so now I'm pretty out of touch with any other sort of faction, and so I'm going through learning all that stuff, so that's why I wasn't like, let's just play Monster Train again. And also, this game is good. Like, this game is, look, it's not, I'm not gonna lie and say this game's insanely complex or like the next big thing, but it's a very simple, very, I think, good quality game that has an idea and sticks with it, and it does it incredibly well, you know? Well, it does it very, very well. It takes bits from other Survivor likes that I've really liked. For example, they're doing the levels, but like the hot, medium, easy, medium, hard kind of thing. I've seen in the what's it called? The dwarf mining thing. They say Rock and Stone a lot. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. And I quite liked that, and they've decided to sort of take that, probably come up with that idea at the exact same time, but they have a similar idea in that aspect. And so I've been having fun with it, and you know what? We've got plenty of people playing Monster Train, and I doubt a lot of people playing this. Bearing in mind that I got this and like 5 other Survivor games for, I think, like £7 off a Humble Bundle. And I thought, damn, this is a perfect, it's like a great deal. Because I was already thinking like, I would probably pay like £9 for one of these. Never mind getting like 7 of them. Even if 2 of them are ones that I've already played and already had. I don't rate Treasure insanely good, but we'll go for it. These things, by the way, you shoot them and you get money. A lot harder to do when you're playing with auto aim. So that's probably why I don't rate them very highly. But I also do not, especially with how weirdly, like, I've been getting pain in my my fingers the last couple days. Like, it's gone down significantly than it was on Saturday, but it's still a thing that's happening. And so any situation where I can play this game one-handed is just a bonus for me. Cooldown's down. Please, at least if we're fighting and you're keeping me in one area, keep me in an area where I'll get a cool bonus when we finish killing these boys. See, this is sort of the bit I always get to in this level, where these guys plus the tentacle boys just destroy me, and I don't remember why. Like, they don't seem that harmful. They don't run particularly fast. You know, I don't understand why, but it does. They just always do. Right, we're slowly making our way through. Ignore the turtles. They're not relevant. Ow. Okay, they might be relevant. I'm not sure if there was a blue thing there that I've just missed, but we're running out. We need more XP. We need XP quickly. We need to be leveling up faster. But yeah, generally Monday was a great day. I had a load of fun with Monster Train. It was a genuine surprise because I had started my sort of week off, not really expecting to have a blimmin' game to play that is like something I was actively looking forward to. I don't think I would go as far to say I was like keeping a large track on it, like a huge eye on it, because obviously I missed it literally coming out. But honestly, I'm trying to figure out what I pick. If I pick this, I get grenades. But if I pick this, I'm picking this. But like, I was so surprised, and I was like, this is so cool, because I played so much of the previous game. In fact, it was to the point where I occasionally just still went back to it, just to sort of play a bit of it every so often. Mainly just the one strategy I really liked. Which, as I said, was Awoken and Stygian, as they're called. God, I hope me putting all of my eggs into the basket of these drones is going to work. I think we've sort of hit the point where we're stabilizing a bit. I think the increases to damages have maybe changed the damage thresholds from being like one hit kill to maybe two hit kill to maybe one hit kill, and so on and so forth. It's weird that this game's it's taken a while to sort of chug through, which is very weird because I didn't have this with much more intensive games. Like, I mean, I've literally played Baldur's Gate on here, and I haven't had it chug to the level that it's occasionally chugging in this game. A game that I guarantee is not a sort of like the level of processing power as that. Oh god, these are the scary boys that jump at you. Yeah, they're jumping at me. They're jumping at me. Increase my damage by 20%. Die quicker. Die quicker. Die quicker. Die quicker. 8 more lasers. Look at the lasers. Okay, I'm going to sacrifice 20% of my health because I refuse to believe that health is the thing that'll save me. This is really good. Especially to get arguably this early in the run. God, these crocodiles. How dare they do these? The thing is, this is hard. And I've done brutal on other maps. So there's a notable change in difficulty for this area. More damage. More damage. Why can't I move? More damage. Okay, we move to this circle. We move to this circle. Maybe we can get 271 kills in this circle. No. Screw it. We can't do any of these. We need to run. Get this. Kill any... Sure. If it means that they die quicker, it means that they die quicker. Boost. We have to make this the whatever we have the strongest we physically can. Range up, sure. Lasers. More damage. This one. Damage down, magazine, bullet count. reload time. That's probably good. Because that's only a -10 if I take both of these. And that can't be a debuff when there's a -10 there. I'll take this. I probably need the healing. I'll take the regen. I know I just said that health doesn't matter and then immediately just prioritized regen and stuff. I understand that that's probably a mistake. Give me the thing. More damage. More damage. We need the damage. Somebody kill these crocodiles. Somebody... Armor, not needed. Fire rate. These enemies are too strong. These crocodiles are too strong. Oh god, I don't have the money for this. I don't have the money for this. I need to do a money earner, but I don't have enough money or the ability to get to anything. Fire rate, yes! Fire rate, +1. I'm not sure if +1 fire rate is a metric ton. Okay. We lived. We didn't do much, but we lived. We don't need a shop. We need money shop. Money shop. That's what we're going. Oh god, there's a boss here. Okay, maybe we can kill 300 enemies before the boss appears. Oh, it's right there. It's right there. Okay. We're gonna sort of do a kite. Kind of a kite. Oh, we got it. Oh, we're killing the boss very quickly. Increase our fire rate even more. What's it doing? Why did it suddenly get up and like stop flying for a second there? And I just won? Oh, right. It was one of those ones where as soon as you kill the boss, you win. Oh god, now they're shooting at me. Nothing was shooting at me in any of the other areas. I don't have the ability to block shots. This isn't fair. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. More damage. More damage. More damage. Yeah. Just run through these people. Run through these people. Oh, I got health. Please, we need to kill more. We need to kill some more. Oh god, I can't dodge all of this. No. More damage. More damage. Health drone. Please. 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 Give me a heal. Oh, you were blimmin' godsend. I can't kill them fast enough. They are getting closer every second. And they're shooting at me. They're shooting at me constantly. This isn't fair. We need more damage, even though it's only one drone. We need more damage. Okay, there's a question mark there. That could be good. That could be good. Increase my damage by, like, infinite, and theirs by nothing. Why would I want this? Why would I want any of these? Yeah, I'll take the spawn times 10. Why not? It can't get any worse than I'm doing right now. Oh, God, they just keep shooting. There's not a space. They don't leave me a space. Please. I just wanted to chill and talk about my week. Oh. Give me all of this XP. Armor. Oh god, I only got one level up from that. Okay, shops. we'll just use all this money that we got in the shop. As soon as they let me to a shop. Okay, armory, that's a shop. And these guys are slow. They'll let me through. Attack damage up. Perfect. Look at the speed. Look at the speed we're killing stuff. Okay. You need to blow up. Oh, you need to blow up, please. Let me through. Let me through. More damage. More damage. Bonuses. Reload time down. Cool. Bullet count up, but pierce down? That can't be right? What's my pierce at the moment? 2? No, I want them to at least pierce 2. If my pierce was like 7, I'd be like, sure, I'll take a debuff to this. Hopper drones. Increase attack speed. Oh, that's not good. Why did I pick one that's related to money when I'm planning on selling all of... spending all of it? Oh, God, no. Damage on my lasers. I'm not sure if when you're doing 400 damage, an extra 40 is, like, notably good. Oh, it's a gamer. Grenade launchers, laser sabers. I'm kind of throwing those. No. Enemy slowdown per hit? That one. I want both of these. Do you ever look at, like, I know what he's going to say. I know what he's going to say. He said Survivor. That means he definitely knows them. Do you ever look at, like, a set of enemies and go, this must be sort of, like, a bit of a generic sort of, sandbox thing that you can maybe buy in, like, a store? Because I swear they look so similar to stuff I've already seen. Because I'll be honest, as much as I think this game is pretty decent, I feel that with this. Like there's a blimmin' sandbox that they've used, that they've bought from, like a sort of like a site. Well, I don't think it needs more variety. I think it needs to be, in my head, it's very, very similar to everything else. I don't think it's particularly unique in its monster design. I think variety has got a decent amount. Yeah, like it feels a bit like that, but I'm not 100% sure, and I don't want to say that if it's not true. Please stop shooting at me, though. Please stop shooting at me. Laser sabers, kill them. Please kill them before they stop shooting. Stop shooting! Stop shooting! Please, I'm not good with shooting in a game that's literally all about dodging shots. Please. More lasers? More lasers is more good. More lasers is more good. That means more people getting hit, which means less people alive. Okay, fire rate's up. That's good. More damage? More damage. More damage. What's the thing doing the most damage? God, it's not even the highest, even with all the buffs I've given it. Just means I haven't given it enough buffs, I think. Bob's these nuts, yeah. You know what, that's fair. I didn't think about that. And what's weird is this music that I put on. It's supposed to be exclusively rainy tracks. But I don't really consider this rainy. At the moment. Like, it started off rainy. But like this, I guess there's a slight rain going on in the background, but like not really. I don't mind it though, this music's quite nice and quite relaxing, but... Yeah, I think the pitter-patter needs to be more prominent, is more what I'm getting at. Increase the number of bullets in the last magazine. No, I want that! Please! Okay. Movement speed is useless, I'm stuck in one place. Health? No, XP. I need more XP. Okay, okay, we survived another night. At Five Nights at Freddy's. Okay, we beeline towards... We beeline to the salvage, because that's the only one I feel like we're... Oh, we're already surrounded. We're already surrounded by crab people. Oh, God. What does the best damage here? These aren't doing anything, so the Harper drones can be ignored. The Kamikaze drones are doing decent amount, but the Laser Saber's doing better, but range is not a huge deal. I think we're at that point in a Survivor game where you're not strong enough to kill dudes fast enough to actually move. And so you're stuck in a situation where you're just dodging attacks while keeping yourself alive. How are my mech drones doing? They're absolutely the best. They need more fire rate then. I don't understand how I can play brutal on one map, but I can't even play hard on the other map. Okay, 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 we might get the salvage. We might get the salvage. Legendary credit income. I really wish I could take you, but I have to take damage. I don't have the leisure to pick anything that isn't damage. If it was any other situation, I would pick damage. I mean, I would pick not damage. That's what I meant. More damage on my mechs. Please. Please. Oh, great Crabman, please. Attack damage, bullet count, range down, magazine capacity down. That's fine. I don't think I want to down my magazine capacity again. Okay, that's a notable improvement. That's a proper notable improvement. We're making our way down for more... Yeah, I call them crabs, but I think... They're just generally crustaceans. I don't think it's fair to just call all crustaceans crabs. It's not fair to the non-crab crustacean people. Everyone talks about crabs being people, but never the fact that... Yeah, but like, do you think a lobster, for example, is eventually going to become a crab? It's already a crustacean. But like, fundamentally, why would it evolve? What's so much better about a crab than a lobster? Like, fundamentally, what's the difference? Like, what's the defining point of a crab that makes it so evolutionarily good that a lobster doesn't have? You know? Claws? A lobster has claws. Yeah, but like, isn't a tail good in water environments? Like, isn't it good to have a tail? This is not the sort of conversation I thought I'd be having on a stream. Yeah, I can understand that, but if the armor isn't... The armor improvement isn't notable enough that... Hold on a second, I need to pick some stuff. I'll pick extra range. Isn't notable enough that it, like, fundamentally changes how much times, like, their survival rates, then I don't really see the point in doing it. And there's nothing that says that having that just tiny bit more armor will change their survival rate by, like, that much. Plus, here's a thing I didn't think about until literally right now. If most of the world eventually turns into crabs, wouldn't that mean that eventually there would be people around that have specifically evolved to fight to beat crabs? So there'd be an evolutionary chain of people that are specifically anti-crab because of how many people have been eventually turned into crabs. In which case it would just increase the diversity again. Because then there will be crabs that make themselves less crab, so that they don't get done in by the anti-crab people. And then it would just start the whole thing again, of effectively just genetic diversity again. And then it would just repeat the cycle until everyone goes back to crab again. Because if that's how it works, that's insane. That's like one of the things I'd see in a story and I'd be like, holy damn, this person is an absolute freaking genius. Like, if I saw somebody that had that in their story, I'd be like, this person's like the next blimmin' messiah. He's so good at this stuff. And then I'd probably inevitably make the joke that he's not the Messiah, he's a very naughty boy. And then I'd laugh. And then no one would laugh with me. And then I would continue on with my life. The crab cycle is like the circle of life. Everyone eventually becomes a crab. And then the crabs eventually are taken out by the crab killers. And then the crab killers eventually become obsolete, so then the crabs come back. And then as soon as the crabs come back, the crab killers come back. I'm still convinced that the actual smartest animal in the world is the tree frog. You know? Like the just generic sort of like Amazon tree frog. And the fact that it can just sort of go like, look, I can live my life doing whatever the hell I want, because I just have made myself actively, I look like I've made it so everyone knows that what I am is poisonous incarnate. If you see something bright, it's poisonous because of me. And so nobody ever tries to attack me because they just instantly die if they eat me. They're the living embodiment of spite. You can eat me, but you're gonna die. I love them. They're great. Screw turning into a crab. I want to eventually be turned into a frog. Because they kind of feel like they're superior animals, let's be honest. I mean, can crabs... I mean, crabs actually 100% can do what I was just about to say. But, like, everything a crab can do, so can a tree frog. That's what I believe. Honestly. Also, apparently, they can turn into pizzas. I did. That's why I said they can turn into pizzas. Oh, yeah, let's reduce my flat damage. But yeah, it's, Monday was pretty good. Can you believe that's where we started? Then we had Wednesday where we did some Expedition. Expedition 33. And that game is absolutely insanely good. I'd strongly recommend for anybody who is considering playing that game to stop considering and just play it. It's a absolutely great game. We met the best character. What's his name? Monoke. He's great. He's 10 out of 10. I mean, annoyingly, I wouldn't put it past this game to do that stupid thing. Well, not stupid, but sorry. Let me rephrase that. I wouldn't put it past this game to do that thing of you end the story with the main characters just losing. Like they just lose, or what I think is a bit more likely, the cycle just continues, and that's always been a part of it. Like every person that's gone there has like succeeded, and then at the end of it, it's actually been like, well, that was the point. You were supposed to succeed, and then it just continues on. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that, and then they could do a sequel. They could do an Expedition 32. And you know what my favorite part of Expedition 33 at the moment is just realizing how understaffed Expedition 33 was compared to all the other expeditions. Because, like, we come with, like, 20 people and a boat, and that's it. And then you see all the people that come before you, and it's like, one of them brought, like, many airships. Like an armada of airships. Someone brought, like, siege towers and a trebuchet. And then there's you who's just gone like, look, we were running out of... One, we're running out of dudes. I'm on the laser beams. One, we're running out of dudes. And two, we're running out of funding. And three, because there's not that many people, we can't build anything anymore. Because no one lives long enough. And also, the longer it goes on, and the more people just die to this expedition, the less people want to actually go on the expeditions. And many people are now just going like, screw it, let's just worship the paintress. And do you blame them for worshipping some, like, immortal, seemingly, like, incredibly powerful creature that is just slowly killing everybody? If there was, like, a small chance that if I worshipped it, I would survive, I'd probably start worshipping it. You just gotta give in and ship off your entire populace. But when you... Yeah, I guess. But the problem is, like, at that point, how many of them are going to be... First off, how many of them are actually going to be, like, at the age where they can do anything? And two... Oh, more beams. And two, like, based on what's been happening in it, like, half of them are probably going to be pregnant. Because there's this whole initiative to just, like, we've got to keep the populace alive. So they keep having kids younger and younger and younger. And some of the people in Expedition 22, or, like, what would be Expedition 22, are probably alive now. which is insane to think. Like, they keep making this book for Gustav's apprentices to sort of give them all the info they need. And it's like, that book, they're probably going to use that book when they're like 1 year off dying, at probably like, when they're like 20. Or like, maybe even less than that. Because they're getting older 1 year, and the number's going down 1 year. Every year. So it's going to catch up to them real quickly. But yeah, it's needless to say, it's a great game, and I feel like very, very soon, because I'm not coming up with a particularly good strategy to how to use my characters, very, very quickly, I'm going to hit a wall where it's like, you should have come up with like a build already. Oh, I unironically think it'll be Game of the Year, if Blueprints doesn't get it. At this point, the things in the running are like Blueprints and this game. And that's sort of the only things that I've heard about that I'm like, your Game of the Year material. I never played Blueprints, and I don't really want to play it, but like, I've heard great things about it, so that's obviously going to do very, very well. But I haven't even finished. I'm on like Act 2 of Expedition 33, and I'm already like, I love like a load of these characters, and I'm so interested to see how the story goes. There's a mobile solo leveling game and you haven't told me about it? What are you doing? Don't you know that that's literally the anime of the year? It beat that absolutely trash blimmin' free-run show that nobody liked and everybody hated and actively said was the worst thing ever. It did win a couple awards, like, joking aside, Free-run did win a couple awards, which is fair enough. It doesn't deserve Show of the Year. I mean, you could make an argument, Anime of the Year, that its visuals are pretty freaking good. Like, if we were talking about, like, Animation of the Year, like, maybe? Like, there's an argument. Like, if we're just talking pure animation. But, yeah, to give it to give it, like, everything else. Like, did it get story? Is there a story category? Because if they give it story, I don't know what they're doing. Because there isn't a story to it. The story is effectively just, like, kill stuff, get stronger, kill stuff. I don't... there was this thing that I saw someone do where it was like, hey, name another character other than Jinwoo. And a lot of people that have watched it can't really name another character other than the main character. Because there isn't really another character. They're all just him. There is an ant. There is the Chimera ant thing that's definitely not taken from Hunter x Hunter. And everyone acknowledges it. But nobody brings it up as a proper, like, annoying point of the whole thing. He's not a character. And we've talked about this before, but one of my least favourite things that they do, and I don't think you like it either, because I think you brought it up as well, is when the character goes from his regular appearance to being suddenly very, very beautiful because he's gotten better? Like he's leveled up? I just feel like it sends a really weird message, you know? And the thing is, he doesn't look... he doesn't look... like, ugly. That's the thing that gets me. he doesn't look ugly before. It's not as if they haven't made him objectively more handsome. They've just made him subjectively more handsome, which makes you wonder who was like, this is what handsome is. Who was like, this is, if somebody ups their like charm stat, this is what they'll become. This is objectively the most handsome thing. Like, if he moves to a different country and, like, ups his beauty stat, does it change him to what the beauty standard of that country is? If so, that would be kind of funny and I would kind of like it a bit more. Like, if the country he's living in just has a standard where they're like, we really freaking like people that have dad bods. It's just like, oh, suddenly I've gained a dad bod when I upped my charm. If it's whatever he considers the most attractive, then fair enough. But I kind of like the idea that there's some arbiter out there that controls the system that objectively just went, nah, this is what handsome is. I'm going to turn him to what I think is handsome. Yeah, God has a type who canonically existed, by the way, but the monarchs killed him. Did you know it has a sequel, by the way, that follows his kid? I didn't. I learned about this the other day. There's a sequel. It follows his kid. I don't remember who he has a kid with. I think it's the lady who can smell mana. And it's just what you expect from it, which is we need to one-up the previous one in terms of power. Oh, it's worse than Boruto. Boruto actually has like a story to it that apparently, ever since the Naruto guy came back, the guy who actually made Naruto, is like not bad. Apparently. I'm probably never gonna read it, but apparently it doesn't go... It isn't that bad. Whereas this is just, you know, they need to make him stronger, so they have to come up with even stronger versions. I think the friends of the main character in the sequel are trying to replace the monarchs that the first main character, Jinwoo, killed. And be like good monarchs, I guess? Question mark? I haven't read any of it, so I've got no idea of the actual plot of it. But apparently Jinwoo is going fighting like 12 other gods while this is all happening. I think it might be 7 other gods, but he's fighting a bunch of gods, so that's why he's not in the story and is a deadbeat dad. Look, there is in fantasy, that's why it's called fantasy. That's literally one of the biggest fantasies of fantasy genres, is that there are good monarchs. And a lot of evil ones, but there's good monarchs. I'm doing a lot better on Brutal than I did on Hard, and I don't know what that says about me. Yeah, and also he has to get weaker now, because he's become a deadbeat dad. His son will have to get stronger than him. You know what? The deadbeat dad thing being very, very popular probably says something about the Korean/Japanese society. Of probably a lot of the dads not being there because they're out working like in black companies, and so they just never met their dad much, and so that's what they write about. Because at the end of the day, as much as they don't say it, a lot of the time they base characters on their experience, on most of the time them. I think there's a solid argument to say that the reason why it's always it's always that, like, in all the isekais, that in all the isekais they get run over by like a truck. There's a solid argument to say that that's related to the high levels of suicide in Japanese culture as well. I think that I can't make the huge connection between them, but I can see there's definitely something there. Oh, I read one of those ages ago about a guy who just wanted to end his own life, but like he gets reincarnated and he has like a borderline immortal body. It's interesting. It's interesting to see, because he doesn't have any special powers other than the fact that when he like resolves the issue that he doesn't have any special powers, but then when he resolves the issue of like who has also been isekai'd here, he can just send them back home. Like he goes, boop, send them back home. I'm 90% sure this song's gonna get copyrighted, by the way. But it doesn't really matter, because all they do is take away any income I would make out of it, but I'm not making any income out of it anyway. So, I don't care. But this is like a stupidly famous song. But I'm not going to stop it, because I love this song, so I'm going to keep it on. But, like, this is like an incredibly famous track from Persona 5, I believe. I think my idea is what I find is the person has reached a point where lives where they couldn't continue. But in a different situation, then they can be better because I'm finding a chance. Maybe. I mean, there's definitely situations where the world can bring you down and stuff. I don't mind those. I think there's a solid thing to that. I could see myself reading that. I mean, I normally don't blame a victim anyway, but I understand where you're coming from. I'm understanding what you're getting at with that, and that's... As you know, I'm a... Oh, I'm a big fan of generic sort of power fantasy stuff. I'm a really big fan of guy who, like, gets regressed back to the past and sort of tries to make up with his family. I love that. I love it when he just makes up with his family, and they're just so happy to actually have the kid back. Like, look, it's still going to be a generic isekai power fantasy thing, but I love it when the kid's like, I made a huge mistake in the past, and never got the chance to say anything back to them. Like, I made a huge mistake. I never got to say anything because they got like fucking executed in the past. I'm now back into the past. I'm gonna fucking make up with them. I'm gonna have a good life with them. I love it. Love it, love it. I love wholesome things like that. Give me wholesome. I love wholesome. And then you can go into the generic, like, power fantasy thing, and I'll probably still read. I know you like it mundane. Of course you do. That's your go-to. It's very weird how, even though we're good friends, we have a fundamentally, like, quite different taste when it comes to stuff. Like, it's quite notable. Like, I'm very much into the sort of, like, the action sort of power fantasy stuff, and you're very much into the sort of, like, tragic, more lower fantasy kind of situations. It's very interesting to me. I cannot read your message at the moment because I am trying to dodge attacks. As soon as I can... Right, let's read. Subaru does, but, like, he doesn't actually, because they were sconces of his family, but he still makes up with them and it helps him move forward. I mean, that's always wholesome. That's always wholesome. Any making up with family... Yeah, I can see that. I can see why. I mean, ReZero's not my thing. I gave it a try ages ago. I couldn't get into it. But I can understand that scene. 100% would make me cry. I'm dreading reading Freedom because I know I've been spoiled of where they are right now, and I feel like I'm gonna cry at some of the scenes in where they are at the moment. I feel like I'm actually flat out gonna cry, and it's like I stopped at the Golden City, mainly just because that's where it had ended when I was reading. And I know where it goes next, generally, and not the specifics. I feel like I'm gonna cry if I get there. I remember hearing a story about somebody, like this dude who just, like, saved a woman from a mugger or something in Japan, and him saying that he got inspired by Himmel. And I just went, fucking hell, that just shows how good Himmel is as a person. I know he's a character, but just as a person. How Himmel comes across. He's such a good person. He is, like, in my head now, the definition of a hero is him. Like, it's literally that simple at this point. The definition of a hero to me is Himmel. Like, it's unironically my favourite bit in this. And I'm sorry if you've not read Frieren and you're watching this. I don't know how many people are watching at the moment, so there could be somebody else in the crowd that is an Onyx. But my favourite point in it is when they do the flashback of him going to pull the holy sword out of the stone, and he doesn't do it, and then everyone's like, well, that's it, he's not the hero, let's not, he's not the hero, that's the end of the story. And then he just goes, like, don't tell anybody, we're continuing. And I'm just like, fucking hell, that's a true hero. He doesn't need a sword for it. It was never about having the sword, it was about saving people. He needed to be the hero to help people. And I'm just like he doesn't need the sword for that. He can just do it himself, and he becomes the hero. And nobody knows that he never had that holy sword. And I just loved it. I just loved that scene. It's just such a simple scene. And like even little things that weren't even related to Himmel and that were like when they have like Stark, who is like absolutely terrified that they're gonna go fight a dragon, and he's like he says something along the lines of like, you must think I'm pathetic for being this scared, and then it flashbacks to his mentor who was like completely scared, and it's like being scared is not a problem. Being scared is not a bad thing. Like letting it overcome you is the problem. And it's just like, oh, that's such a good scene. Such a goddamn good scene. I love some of the things in Frieren. God, I need to read that. I might read it from the start again. Even though I realistically just need to get to the Golden City and then go past that. I feel like I just need to read it all again. God. Just talking about it is getting me happy. And then also there's cool action scenes for the people like me who also like cool action scenes. So like it had literally the best of both worlds. I think that's one of my favorite kinds of stories, is the stories where as a kid, or if you're not particularly smart like me, like, yeah, that's a cool part as well. My favorite parts of stories is when, even if you're like a kid or you're not that smart like me, you can still watch it and go, holy damn, these scenes are awesome, the fights are awesome. But if you're like smart enough to get the sort of subtle stuff, you get like an extra part to the story that like maybe the other people don't get. Always like that kind of thing. Like there's a solid part of Frieren where you could just be like, Frieren's so cool, she just kills that demon in like one shot. And then there's also like, holy damn, the subtle parts of this are so interesting. And like the overarching story and what they're trying to suggest is so good. It reminds me of, I'm gonna go off of this because it's one of my favorite passions. There's a part in One Piece where one of the characters, I'm not gonna spoil it because I want, if anybody's ever considering watching One Piece, then I don't want to spoil One Piece for you. But like, there's a part in it where one of the characters says like in my opinion, one of the most badass lines ever, which is that existence isn't a crime. You existing isn't a crime. And it's just such a good line. I'm not doing it service just by saying it, because the surrounding parts of it is so good. But like, just saying to this person who's obviously lived their whole life thinking otherwise, your existence isn't a crime, is just such a badass thing to say. Oh, God, I love that bit. But yeah, those kinds of things get me, and you do not get those things in Solo Leveling. It's sort of what this whole story started off as. The fact that something like that can produce those kinds of reactions and can actually inspire good behavior in people didn't get it, but Solo Leveling did, is kind of a travesty, if we're being honest. I mean, what good motivations do you get from Solo Leveling? What do you gain from it? It's a shame, but, like, also you got to think about how many kids there are that just like cool animations and cool fight scenes, you know? Me being a fair few of them a lot of the time. Oh, I died. Let me retry that. Like, can you honestly argue with the kid that just likes the really good animation? Yeah, I know it's horrendously bad as a, like, concept. And there's also that whole thing of there not at all being a woman in that isn't, like, that is strong, that isn't instantly shown to be, like, a subordinate to even the main guy, or like insanely evil, you know? Which is a problem just in general anime in general, but whatever. Show me more strong women characters. They're always the most badass when they're wrote. That's the thing. Whenever people do put a badass woman in their thing, it's always the best. It is a cultivation novel. Well, it's literally it is effectively a cultivation novel, except that they don't do the cultivation part of it, and it's not set in the generic cultivation in time period, which is like fantasy China, but with like the different clans. Because literally every blimmin' cultivation novel is set in that, unless it's set in the modern times, in which case they just transfer over all the clans into modern times. I wish I was kidding. You always have the wonderful Jaemon who's weaker and more insignificant than the main character and quickly becomes subservient to it. Yep, oh yeah. You've got the part where very, 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 very briefly she is stronger than him. And then never gets to a point where she ever actually is able to fight anyone. Like, that's the thing that gets me, is they'll have a situation where they show her being strong once, and then every other time she fights, it's just so the main character can have that bit where they save them. And every time it pisses me off. Every time. You know what? We're going to pick grenades. I never pick grenades. It's honestly very annoying. I still read them. Don't get me wrong. And if you read them and you're reading it and you're watching this whole thing, do what you want. I don't freaking care. I read incredible amounts of slop and I love it. So it's hard to even say, like, can I even call it slop if I love every second of it? It does its job. It's doing its job and entertaining me. But yeah, like, there are tropes in it that I always am quite annoyed is a thing. That's one of them. Let the women be strong. And I swear, you know what annoys me? Is occasionally you get mangas that are like called Strong Woman or something. And they still like to sneak in this sort of like thing of like, she's a strong woman because she's able to get herself a strong man. Like, it's always like, why is she a strong woman? Oh, she can manipulate the people around her. And she does that by getting herself a strong man. And then using his power But it's never like she gains her own power. It's always like she uses this man's power for herself. And I don't know, it pisses me off. And the thing is, I'm not even saying that I want strong women and stuff. Because of like some incredibly altruistic thing, like I'm in like this like altruistic ultra feminist or something. I just think it's awesome. I just think it's always awesome, and they come out as incredible characters when they do it. That's literally it. Like obviously I also want there to be like yeah. Effectively, I think they're awesome. They are characters that are normally like badass. They come across as some of my favorite characters when I do it. They are the characters I make in RPGs. Like when I'm playing an RPG and they're like, are you going to be a male or a female? 99% of the time I'm clicking female, and 99% of the time I'm an absolute badass in the game who kills everything. Because it's awesome. I mean, the drip is also better. That is true. I mean, it's a notable fact that they put more work into the female drip than the male drip. Only complaint I have about female drip is a lot of the time, let me wear heavy armor. Let me wear cool heavy armor as a woman, and it not just be bikini armor. Like I want cool heavy armor that I can put on my badass woman. It's one of the reasons I made my character Hrothgar in FF14. It's because I wanted to choose a strong looking woman if I was going to play a woman. And I didn't originally, but I wish I did originally. One of my biggest regrets in FF14 was not starting out the game as a woman. Not only would I get better drip, I also would have had to be able to play a badass woman. Although I guess the female Hrothgar weren't in the game when I started, so I wouldn't have been able to choose Hrothgar. Egg. Great food, 10 out of 10. Don't know if one of the reasons probably could never become a vegan. Don't know what its relevancy is at the moment, but 10 out of 10. Oh no, it's a question. 42. No. Next question. Luckily it was an easy question. No. Next question. Well, actually, yes. Eggs are vegetarian. Sorry. "42. The meaning of life is 42. Everyone knows that. It's been like a constant in the world since like whenever the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Multiverse came out. They told us the meaning of life. It's why it's such a blimmin' good book. And kind of the first sci-fi book I ever... Kind of the only sci-fi book I ever think of. Like, weirdly, there's so many fantasy books that I could tell you about. In terms of sci-fi books, there's only two that come to my mind, and it's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Multiverse. To the Universe. And, like, I remember that there was a book that was made by the guy who is the Scientologist founder. And that's literally it. Other than them, I don't think I could name you another sci-fi book. Is that weird? Is there a lot of, like, well-known... Hypothetically, if I want to make the body of a human that may have some bite marks on them disappear, what would be the easy way to do it in the comfort of my own home and without raising suspicion? You see, when I think of Starship Troopers and Ender's games, I think of those as movies because the only instance of them that the first instance I got of them was a movie. Like, I remember the kid that was in Ender's Games, and I remember I'm doing my part from the movies of Starship Troopers. I know they are books, but the mainstay, like, most popular sci-fi didn't come from books. Because at the very least, people don't think of Star Wars as coming from books. Did Star Wars come from a book originally? Did he write a book before he did Star Wars? No, the books came after. Okay. Dune? Yeah, Dune. I only heard about Dune. I heard about Dune because of Warhammer 40k. I heard about Dune because people were saying they Warhammer 40k stole everything from them. Never heard of Neuromancer. Other than literally being, I guess, a class in a sci-fi game where you control other people's brains. Foundation, great for your eyes. Don't know what it is as a book. Didn't know it was getting that hot. Never heard of it. I feel like these ones you're saying right now are not as common as you think they are. Because I haven't even heard of them now. Never mind when I was a kid. Anyway, going back to your previous question about getting rid of a body. In terms of getting rid of a dead body in a way, in the comfort of your own home, it's very, very hard unless you happen to have some form of quite strong acid already in your own home, and or you raise pigs. If you raise pigs, you've got a great chance. I've heard of 1984, but I don't think of 1984 as a sci-fi because it doesn't have spaceships in it, right? No, wait, I'm thinking of a different thing. This is George Orwell's is HAL, right? I've heard that word used, do androids dream of electric sheep, but I don't know what it's from. Wait, is Orwell 1984, is that the one that... Is Clockwork Orange a sci-fi? Because I've heard of that before. It doesn't have any sci-fi things in it. I'm thinking of Space Odyssey, but instead of 1984, you're right. No, I don't think Clockwork Orange is considered a sci-fi, right? Oh, it's what Blade Runner is based off of. That's insane. As in, like, they literally just changed the name for like a movie, or they just took a lot of stuff from it. Oh, is no way, that's probably a movie first as well. All of my sci-fi stuff is from movies, I've realised. I've realised that, like, Jurassic Park is, I guess, sci-fi. I don't know if I count that really as sci-fi, though. That is a bit weird. War of the Worlds? I don't think War... Oh yeah, War of the Worlds. Yeah, I knew about War of the Worlds. Again, I thought of that as a radio drama. Because isn't War of the Worlds the one that they always have, like, the one guy in, like, a radio booth going... Blah, 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 blah. The aliens are coming. Right? I know that isn't the whole film, but that's what I remember. I've heard of The Expanse. I haven't heard of Leviathan Wakes. I'm guessing that's the actual name of the thing. Was Pacific Rim a book before it was a movie? Damn, I thought I had a good shot there. That's a really good, like, concept for a movie that they just made out of thin air without taking from a book. I am an uncultured swine. I've realised all my sci-fi knowledge is from movies, and a lot of my fantasy knowledge is from books and movies, because I loved fantasy. I think that's the main thing. I wasn't as much of a sci-fi person when I was young. And so it's sort of rubbed off in the fact that I don't have that knowledge. But there was a couple that you said that in hindsight I did know when I was young. I just didn't think about them when I was thinking about it. I have read... I mean, I don't know if I could count all of them, but I've read, obviously, all of the Percy Jacksons, all of the Egyptian version of that, all of the Roman version of that. I used to get really into these books. I forget the names, but they were effectively about... They were each like a monster that they had to beat up because it was being corrupted. And then in the next versions of those books, they had the creatures they beat as allies when they were fighting the next set of creatures, which was kind of cool. It's not a particularly well-known book, so I wouldn't be surprised. They were like all the rage in my school back in the day. Other than that, what else have I read? It's been so long since I actually read a book, so it's hard to think about it. But when I was young, I used to be really into reading books. Nowadays, not so much. Well, I guess technically, because I do read a couple of Royal Road stuff back still. Not as much as I used to, but I still read the occasional Royal Road. Beast Quest, that's the name of it. That's 100. I don't know how you got that from what I said. It must have been such a cultural phenomena that, like, it was a big thing in your place as well or something. Because, like, we did not know each other at that point. Like, and there was several series of that. Like, I was talking about the first two. And, like, there was, like, 7 or 8 series of that, I swear. So it's very funny to have, like, the first you saying you were only the only literate person in your school have a spelling mistake when it was school. I mean, I always know you're not taking the mickey. Because I don't know anyone called Mickey. No, I'm kidding. That was a really bad joke. Mark enemies and then blow up mark targets? Maybe. Let's take that. I mean, I was lucky enough to have gone into, at least in primary school, I went to a private school that was pretty good. And then when I got to high school, I got in with the kids that, like, hung out in the library, and so I very much, like, got into, obviously, reading books and stuff. I did not know... A PS4? That was not the generation when read their books. They waited that long to make a game? Is it on Steam? Am I gonna be playing it next stream? Will it be Expedition 33 as my game of the year? It's on Steam. That's insane. Does it have decent reviews? Please tell me it does. I'm begging you, please tell me it does. For some reason, I want this game to have done insanely well. But for some, like, other reason, they didn't make another one or something. I hope I get to play the Phoenix. The Phoenix, it was the first book, I think, but it was always my favourite. 2014. I was about to say, oh, that's not that long ago, but that was a decent amount of time ago. It reminds me, oh, mostly negative. Oh, that's a shame. It reminds me of, I was watching a Yogscast. I was watching the Yogscast, making the making of their blimmin' Jaffa factory at the moment. And at one point in it, they go, they probably used AI for this. And they were like, oh, it came out 20 years ago. And they were like, oh, yeah, so they maybe used 1990 AI. And it's like, 1990 wasn't 20 years ago. It wasn't 20 years ago, mate. It was actually 66 reviews, just a bunch run in English. Maybe I guess they had a larger viewing in other countries. Well, a bit of a viewing in other countries. I will say some of the later series, monsters had lost a lot of their, like, fantastical things to them. Because you start off and you had, like, the obvious things. You had, like, the Kraken, the Phoenix. I believe there was a Griffin of some kind, but I could have been wrong. And then later on, one of them I think was just a mammoth. And, like, mammoths are scary and stuff, but, like, they're not that fantastical. We know that they literally existed. So, like, I'm not saying that they ran out of ideas. But if someone said they ran out of ideas, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking about this the other day. What do you reckon people say like there's some very, very popular like YouTuber or Twitch streamer, and they do really well, and they do it for like 20 years, and then like for no fault of their own, like just Twitch stops being a thing. People stop like watching stuff on Twitch, and there isn't an alternative, and it's just like, right, your career is over now. There's nothing you can do, and you didn't make enough money that like you can retire on what you had. What do you reckon the actual job that people that used to be Twitch streamers goes into? Like, what do they do? Hold on a second, let me just allow the word buggered. Like, what do you reckon the most logical I'm using my skills is for someone like that? Marketing is possible. Like, social media marketing kind of things would probably work in their wheelhouse. But I'm not really sure how good the average sort of Twitch streamer is at that. B-rated acting? Maybe? But I think you've got so many people who do that. Like, you're going into a hugely populated field. And, like, trying to make a name for yourself there. I was thinking about this because I was thinking about, like, disgraced, like, VTubers and stuff, right? Because obviously there was that whole thing that came out ages ago about, Cinder. Who was, like... I don't know the specifics, so I won't go into it, but needless to say, she's effectively been cancelled, and she probably is very unlikely to make it. Maybe she's still doing fine, but she's sort of like not good in the public eye at the moment. And I was just like, okay, but what do you do if you're like a disgraced VTuber as a job after doing it for like enough time that there's a notable break from you doing an actual job? That's an industry that's hard to get into, though. Like, I know you're probably saying this as a joke, but, like, that's a hard industry to get into. Oh, right, you're not. Okay. I guess she does, but, like... Does that keep... I guess that keeps going? I guess the people who want that kind of stuff don't care that she's who she is? You know what? Fair enough. That pays well. That stuff pays well. I mean, I remember hearing about a wrestler who was not incredibly popular, but like was still relatively popular, and they just went, I'm going to abandon this because they won't allow me to also do my OnlyFans stuff, and OnlyFans stuff is making me like infinitely more money than actually being a wrestler. So like, it doesn't surprise me. Yeah, Cottontail is an interesting one because I watch Ray Narvaez Jr. I see a fair amount of Cottontail because they're they do a lot of collabs, and I don't know, like, I don't watch her directly because I'm kind of like, I'm not sure her content is for me. I'm trying to not be mean, but I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go out and say it. I'm scared that it's effectively just like I'm scared it's just porn, and I don't want to be I want to be watching something that makes me that's entertaining, not porn. And I think she's quite funny when she does her funny stuff, but like I don't want to be watching something for funny stuff, and then suddenly it's like becomes, I mean, I don't know, something sexy or something, you know? I don't want to sound mean, so I'm trying to make sure I say my words correctly. I'm not trying to make it so people who do that are saying that people who do that are bad, but like that's not what I want when I'm watching stuff on Twitch. But she's like really funny when I see her do collabs with Ray and stuff, so I'm like, I don't know. Also, congrats on getting your Aquillas. If I don't get my Aquillas, I don't get my Aquillas. I'm like in Darktide because I'm like, look, I play that game every so often when my friends are like, hey, do you want to play a bit? And I do horrendously and then I don't play the game for a bit. So I'm perfectly fine with just like, I'm not going to be able to buy anything with the Aquillas anyway because they've set it at a number where you can buy like the occasional skin. No, I will lose. You saw me die on like 4 difficulty stuff. Yeah, but you don't learn by just being thrown into the deep end with no idea. I guess maybe that is technically how you learn, but it hasn't worked for me yet. I still can't reliably kill many of the enemies. That's the thing that gets me. If I get attacked by a berserker and I don't have my gun out to shoot it, I'm probably losing all my health to that berserker. Nah, I'm fine, because the thing is, I don't play the game enough where I'm like, You're honestly dying? Oh god, please don't die. You're like one of like a handful of friends I have. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, that would be mean to my other friends. That would be mean to my other friends. I honestly could not say who I would consider my absolute best friend. True, I could have lied to you if I knew you were about to die. That wasn't nice of me. I probably should have lied. But then, like, what happens when you get into heaven and you're just like, you come down to watch your best friend and I'm like, saying to another person, you're my best friend, you know? I don't want a vengeful angel coming after me. Okay, well, what if you're in hell watching and you see me say that and the same thing happens? I don't want a vengeful devil after me. I think they will. If you're going to do something evil... Yeah, but like, the thing I never understood about that whole Eternal Damnation is, I don't think Lucifer's in on it. I don't think Lucifer likes it. Because, like, why would he? He's just been given work by the guy who he tried to, like, betray, you know? So, like, if you're like, I'll go back and I'll be one less person you have to do anything for, I think you'd be fine with that. I think you'd be like, that's fair enough. There's one less person I have to care about. Look, I'll be honest. World building. They need to do a bit better on the world building. I'm just going to go out and say it. The timelines don't make sense. Why did they turn those random people into salt for looking back at that city? You know? Very, very weird thing. was pretty impressive. It was pretty impressive. But could he beat Goku? That's the important thing. Like, if they fought one-on-one, who would win? Would it be him or Goku? My money's on Goku, because, you know, he can go Super Saiyan. Yeah, but, like, what if they did? Yeah, but like, what if they did? For some reason in my head, I think of this music in my head is like the music they play to try and subtly drown someone out that they don't want. They don't want them to be talking anymore. Speaking of drowning, oh, nothing has ever started like that. I don't think there's ever been a sentence in the world that has started well that's been... No, you don't want that. I've seen somebody that's, like, done that as a joke, and they come out of it going, like, all the laughter had disappeared from their, like... All the happiness had disappeared from their face, and they were like... It was hell. And I don't know why, it surprised me. For some reason in my head, it surprised me that they were that traumatized. It was like a part of me had forgotten that it was used as a torture method. It wasn't like a joke. It was an actual torture method. You know what's coming out? It's either this week or next week that is actually an insanely good game that I will probably only ever watch someone play, but I highly recommend anyone that isn't like me to actually play it. The next 2 chapters, and I said that right, 2 chapters of Deltarune are coming out. The next blimmin' 2 chapters. That's fair. That's fair. It's never been a thing for me to play, but frickin' hell is the game good. No, I don't want to get done in for it. If you can somehow guarantee that I'm not going to be caught or punished for doing it, maybe. Yeah, I don't think that holds up in court. I don't think you can sign a waiver for these kinds of things. That's the thing. Also, if I openly said yes on a recorded thing, I feel like there would be some trouble to that. I feel like there's some trouble that can come from it. Not sure what, but there's a part of my brain that's going, you definitely shouldn't say anything about that on stream, and then I die. Do you see, that feels like an omen, you know? An omen that maybe I shouldn't do it. God, this brutal level is blimmin' brutal, for lack of a better word. No, but Deltarune, I'm so looking forward to watching like 5 different people play that game. Because, goddamn, is the story interesting, and they haven't gone through it all yet, and I'm really interested to see where it goes, and I'm wondering if whether Chris is the knight, or whether the knight is his brother, or whether they're going to go into more detail of why he rips out his heart when he's about to go to bed and shoves it in a rusty bird cage. and then draws a knife out of seemingly nowhere. And what happened that traumatized this person to this level where he quite obviously is trying to make himself emotionless to get over something? And also why some of the bosses, or at least all the bosses we met at the moment, have represented like entertainment in some fashion. There's so many things that I want to know about blimmin' Deltarune. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching a bunch of people play that. Is your neck murdering you? What? Is it like trying to strangle you? Isn't it strangling itself if it does that? I found out the other day that if I sleep on one side, like, it's like I get a weird feeling in my chest, and which was worrying. But it's fine. How is the piercing, by the way? Is it doing okay now? That's not... Yeah, don't worry about it. I've had it checked already. Don't worry, I wouldn't be joking. I wouldn't be joking about it if I hadn't already had that looked at. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Cool. No, is there still bleeding, or is that sort of stopped now? I think we're done for now, but I expect another one for another week. Again, for another week. See, I don't understand that. Surely, if it's done, it should be done. Like, you don't have it where, like, a scab or something, like, bleeds and then is healed and then bleeds again. Is it because of movement? Is the logic that there's, like, a lot of movement so it just opens up the wound again? I don't really understand it. It's movement. Right, okay, it's movement. And eventually your body will just, like, harden in those areas to the point where it doesn't matter if you do movement anymore. Because it's become strong enough. The skin around it has become strong enough that it's not a problem anymore. Is that the logic? Pretty much. Okay, cool. Interesting. I was a bit surprised. I mean, I don't know how much you want me to go into in terms of, you know, personal stuff related to your ear, like where you had the piercing. I was surprised about where you had it, by the way. It wasn't what I initially thought of when I thought of, like, a piercing, you know? It's not, like, one of the common ones, in my opinion. Well, because I think of here, right? I think of the earlobe instantly whenever I hear piercings. I've never actually seen one in the place that you've got one. I know it is a pretty common thing, but it's fair enough. It was it's cool. I don't think I could ever make the commitment of, like, ever doing any, like, tattoos, piercings, any kind of that stuff. As much as there's loads of things I like, I just don't think there's a single thing where I'm like, I like this so much I want to permanently have it on my body, you know? But that's more for the tattoo side of things. I understand with piercings. I understand with piercings it's not that big of a commitment, right? It can heal over. You can have just like a very basic thing in there. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm more thinking with tattoos. You can laser tattoos, but that is a... It's like it's not a small thing, right? And it does hurt. It does hurt a fair amount. And I don't like pain. I also don't like needles, which wouldn't help. Bearing in mind it took like all of my blimmin' courage to get the COVID vaccine when that was happening. And the first time it happened, I was like the closest I'd ever been to... I think it's the closest I've ever been to, like, actually, like, fainting. But the closest I've come to fainting without fainting. I think that's fair. True. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Yeah, I'm not great with needles. I'm not great with needles at all. At frickin' all. Do you ever think about how you would do in a situation where you were just sort of sent to a generic, like you were reincarnated, like you were isekai'd effectively into a different world, and like just like what you would do, and how like realistically, in my opinion, if I don't put a sort of change to it where I kind of have to be a big name, I would just become like Farmer Joe. Like, I would never, like, leave whichever town I was born into, and I would just live my life there for, like, no matter how fantastical the world is. Unless someone actively had pushed me to do something, I wouldn't leave the town I was in. You know? I think about that occasionally. Like, I never want to give those answers because they're always the most boring answers. But realistically, in every one of those situations where, like, you're put in a fantastical situation, my answer is almost always going to be, I find a society that, like, is safe, and I have a generic safe job for the rest of my life. Yeah, I'd probably just try and live a pretty normal life, be a better person than I am now, and see it as an opportunity to be for like a biblical. Yeah, I can understand that. I think generally my logic is just I am absolutely insanely scared of danger. And so I would never be in every one of these situations where you are like a hero. Um, I honestly think I would just be like, well, I'm not going out there, you know. I'm not becoming an adventurer. Adventurers die to a random, like adventurers go out to kill a bunch of goblins and happen to come across a hydra and die to it, you know. And I'm not going to be the main character that just suddenly like has a... Like, if it's a whole different story if, like, there's a system in it where you have, like, aptitudes, and the aptitudes are tested, and, like, I have a high aptitude in something, and they actively are, like, pushing me to become, like, something more than I am. Yeah, they have to guilt me, effectively. But even in those situations, I'm still gonna be, like, really unlikely to be anything more than just, like, the base that I need to be for that. It's why my default answer for, like, what fantastical power I would have in a system is always healing. Because I always know that no matter what world I'm in, if you got healing powers, you can make bank. You know, if I have healing powers, I can make bank without putting myself in danger. You know? And that's the biggest thing for me, is, like, in those situations, I'm just like, I want the best sort of life I physically can have. If I have to be a personal healer to a noble, fine. And it's like, even in a situation where maybe I'm in a really shitty world, like I'm on a horrendous planet in, like, Warhammer 40k, right? That, like, doesn't sleep at all, is, like, working 7 days a week. The only day they have off is blimmin' Emperor's Day, what is it, Sanguinala or whatever it is. And, like, we're being worked to, like, borderline death, and I never have any entertainment of any kind, right? Even in that world, normal people are like, oh, I'd fight against it, I'd get a rebellion. Realistically, I don't know what it's called. What's blimmin'... Oh, right. Okay, so you're just making a joke. Realistically, people are like, I would fight against the system. I do X, I do Y. I wouldn't do anything. I would just live my life. You know, I'm not... I'm the kind of guy that just... I'm not joining a rebellion. That's putting me in danger. I'll keep to the life I know. It's one of those situations where, you know when a lot of people... You know when a lot of people are like... There's occasional people who don't understand why more people don't rebel against, like, an absolutely tyrannical, like, government, or, like, in, like, a situation in a fantasy novel where it's, like, tyranny and it's horrendous. And I'm like, look, mate, that's my life. That's literally, like, my life has always been this. It's always has been, always will be. I just take the little pleasures and live my life. Yeah, exactly. Just keep my head down. Bad things are happening? Cool. It's unrelated to me because I'm not gonna blimmin'... like, be caring about it. Even if I knew, like, the secret underbelly of, like, the society, and it's, like, horrendous, and it's like, oh, look, all these horrendous things are happening. I'm pathetic. I will just sit there and do nothing about it. Even if I'm put in a relatively high position of power. Like, you make me a noble of, like, of decent, like, power, right? I'm not doing anything. I'm scared I'll die. I'll be good to the people that are around me. Generally. I can guarantee that. But that's about all I can guarantee. I'm not going to go out of my way to punish people more than is the standard to keep me alive. But I probably would do the whole punishing thing if it was like that, or I probably die to the rest of the nobles because they think that I'm not part of them. You know? It's pathetic. It's 100% pathetic, but it's It is what I would be in those worlds. When it comes to my own survival, I become... I don't know what the best word would be. Incredibly unheroic. Maybe is the word. And in no way would I ever put myself in a leader position. Because there's many, many times where I have not understood why something is bad until it's been explained to me at length. And there's sometimes where people have explained it at length about why this is bad, and I still don't really understand it, but I just know it's bad because people tell me it's bad. Does that make any sense? So, like, I've been told that something is bad. I have been told that something has been like something is bad, and I don't really I was talking about why I'd never be a leader, because there's so many things that I've been told are bad, but I have to be told on length why they're bad because I don't really understand it. And as soon as there's even been times where people have like told me that on length, still haven't really understood it, and I've just gone, well, this is bad, so I'm just not gonna like. I just won't. Whenever it comes up, I'll just say it's bad. And I still don't really understand why it's bad. I've just been told it's bad, so it must be bad. You know how every single villain in everything uses the greater good as an example? I don't understand why that's bad. I don't understand why the greater good is a bad thing. Because I'm like, yeah, I'm fine with a 1,000 people dying if 1,000,000 people survive. But like, it's always used by bad people. Like, so there must be something inherently bad about it. But I'm too scared to ask about it at this point. Because every person that says the word greater good is evil. Everyone. Without fail. To the point it's become a meme. So what, is it when people too quickly go to doing evil, instead of... Is it because people too quickly go to it? Like, to do a minor evil instead of looking out for a potentially good way of doing it? Or is it something else? Like, I genuinely... When I look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, sure, this dude's killing a lot of people, but it's going to save like several generations. I'm like, I don't understand. This guy seems like he might not be the good guy, but he's certainly not evil. You know? Right. So inherently it's not evil. Even though, like, it's a meme. That, like, they always use it for everybody that's evil. It's kind words to play up for your actions. Okay, so it's always an excuse that they use. Is this the way that you dodge bullets? Am I a No, I'm not a genius. Quickly, quickly, take the armor. Right, okay, right. But a lot of the time it's not used in, like, obviously you're using an exaggerated example because you're trying to show off the point, but, like, a lot of the times it's like, I'm gonna nuke this city. If I nuke this city, it means that, like, a deadly contagion doesn't get out and completely destroy the world. And I'm like, that's a sad thing, but, like, he's not bad. He's not inherently wrong. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, I can sort of understand it. Right, that's the main thing, okay. I can understand that. I can understand when put in simpler terms like that, where it's just like, look, everybody who does that is just using it as an excuse. That makes a hell of a lot more sense when you say it like that. Because a lot of the time I'm sitting there going like, I don't want to say it, but I kind of agree with the guy. You know? I kind of like, look, if he takes out these people, it is better. God, you know what annoys me is occasionally when it's like, when there's characters where they're like, people are like, oh, this person's evil because look at what they're doing. And I'm like, you've got to look at it from the perspective of what he actually knows. You know? I think so many times people forget about the whole thing of like, the character you're looking at doesn't have all the information that you have. Because you are like this almighty arbiter that knows everything. Or at least knows a lot more than the average person knows. And a lot of time I'm like, look, if you look at it from his perspective, I can understand where he's coming from. It's like, he doesn't know that there is just a cure wall that exists. In like, say this an example. I define evil by the intent, 100%. I think there's a fair amount of thing to go like, if somebody asks me, is this person evil? I think a lot of times I have said like, the actions they did was evil, the intent was good. I think that's a perfectly fine thing to say. But it's always hard to figure out. It's always hard to figure out with some of the more complex characters, because a lot of the time I'm like, it's always a blurry line where it's like, look, you're dropping a nuke on people. That's a bad thing inherently, but you're doing it to save so many people. Yeah, I know. It's an interesting thing that's very rarely comes up in a lot of TV shows and stuff. Actually, I say that. It's coming up more and more in TV shows. To the point where occasionally I just like it when the character is like, I'm a villain. What's your motivation? I just fucking hate everybody. Like, there's no hidden meaning to me. There's no, like, scary thing I'm trying to, like... I'm not a morally grey villain. I'm just hate everyone and I want to kill everything. It's one of the reasons ages ago when we were doing the when we were doing the, like, absolutely evil campaign where everyone was evil, I was just like, I'm just gonna make an evil person. There's no, like, morale. There's no, like, morally grey part to him. Just evil. He's just a guy who is evil. Like, I like morally complex villains, but if every one of them is this complex grey area villain, I just get bored. Yeah, yeah, I guess. I'm trying to think back on all the characters in that, but yeah, I guess. I don't even think you'd say vaguely. I think you can make a solid argument that you were just straight up good. Especially in the world that we were in. That's the closest you're going to get to good in this world. I don't remember Kay's characters, if I'm being completely honest. I believe one of them was an artificer that was a weapons dealer, but that's sort of all I remember. But I mean, that was like so long ago. Like, it's so long ago. Yeah, I remembered that. I remembered that because, I don't know, it was pretty unique. I don't remember the first character at all in my head. But as I said, it's been a long time. I think it's fair for me to have forgotten stuff. I'm an old boy. I'm a very old boy at the moment, so you know. At the moment, as if that's going to change. I guess it is going to change. I'm going to get older and less of a boy. More a man? That doesn't really make any sense. Ignore me. It's getting late, but I want to finish this before the stream ends, so... But turning into a man. It was said badly, I know. It didn't make any sense. If this was a story I was making, that bit would be cut out. Completely cut out. Oh god, I'm taking so much damage. Okay, we need to go for a heal. I always just get one shot randomly by this boss. We could have been done with this whole thing if I hadn't got one shot by a boss. I feel like if I was put into a world like where chaos and order were a bit more of like a fundamental force, I feel like I would just be the like model student for order, you know? Like the thing they look at and go, this is what we want. Because I'm a huge blimmin' fan of order just in general. I can't get close enough to this guy because I know he's going to breathe fire on me and then insta-kill me. He's doing it right now! That's not fair, you can't even see the flames. Please, 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 healer. Please, healer. I hardly know her. Please, 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 please. Please, 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 please. Okay, I'm good. I'm back. Please, don't breathe fire, don't breathe fire. Give me more armor. Don't breathe fire, don't breathe fire. All I ask is that you don't breathe fire on me. Oh god, he's doing it, run! He's doing it! Oh, please, run! Please. I just want this boss dead, but he's not even half health. And I'm too scared to get close to him because I feel like I'm gonna die if I get close to him. Oh, he's breathing fire! No! That's not fair. He knows I can't dodge that. He's doing it again. He's doing it again. More damage, more damage, more damage. Keep running. Not much. I don't know how much help I'm gonna be, mate. Oh god, stop breathing. Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. Is it because I called your monster designs generic? I was just being mean for the sake of it. I'm really sorry. I'm really, really sorry. It happens when I'm worried. Or angry. Or sad. I promise I'll never do it again. Oh no, no, he's gonna do the breath. He's gonna do the... No, stop, stop. No, 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 no. Please, 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 die. Damage? More damage. Dead. We did it. Final run of the stream. We actually did it. We actually did it. Right, I'm going to call it here. I hope everyone had a good time. Onyx, thank you for joining the chat. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. Until Wednesday, I hope everybody has a good couple of days. We'll get through this week. Don't worry. Bye.